Hello, Kerry Guard, CEO of MKG Marketing and host of Back on Track. Yes, this is not Sarah Nay, although I'm sure he could do a fabulous impression. Sarah couldn't make it today, and so Evan and I decided to hop on because LAD's blowing up. The whole search world is blowing up, and I have a lot to say about it. And so I was like, "Hey, Evan, should I just go on and like talk about it?" And he was like, "Yes, you should." And I was like, "Cool." He's like, "I'll be right there." So here
Yeah,
we are.
here we are.
here,
Here we are.
here we are. I've been throwing a lot at you, Evan, as this stuff is happening. News alert: Evan helps me with all my social posts. He is the guy behind the scenes making all of these articles and posts happen. Um, because clearly I can't stay on top of it, and I needed someone to help me out. Because we talk about consistency all the time, and I gotta practice what I preach, and so I also
Do you want
recognize
you
when
want to
I
hear a
need a little
secret
help.
sauce? You want to hear a secret
Oh,
sauce?
of
So half the
course.
ghostwriters in LinkedIn have their own ghostwriters, and
Do
I'm
you
one
have
of
a
them.
ghostwriter?
I have a because so here's the I really enjoy, and this does actually talk a lot. This is online with what you're talking about too. I actually like enjoy doing it for other people way more than for myself.
It's so
So yeah,
hard.
it
Oh,
is
it's
much.
so hard to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
weird.
I have people that help me too. Yeah,
Oh, that is fantastic.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's how Evan and I hang out on a regular basis, and why he's joined me. Evan, I've thrown a lot at you in the last I 48 hours. I
Yeah, but
mean,
you're one of like the best clients because I don't have to beg you for collateral and assets.
I have so
And
much to say.
I honestly like, and if you're one of my other clients and you're offended by that statement, take the hint.
Yeah. There's I mean, I don't know other industries you work in, but clearly being in marketing, both of us being in marketing and
Yes.
watching sort of what's unfolding with Google right now. So I
Yes.
called this ages ago. I've been saying this for a while that um, Gemini, how we work with the AI mode or Gemini is going to be the ipso de facto way we interact with search. And
Yes.
lo and behold, it has arrived. I think we knew it was coming, but we weren't actually ready. It's like having a baby come early and like the bedroom we don't have a crib. Like,
Yeah. 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 Or when I
yeah.
impulse adopted my first cat. And I'm like, go puff ordering a glitter box right in 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. No, where's the food? I need the thing for them to sit on, and
Yeah.
all the yes, absolutely. Pets are just the same. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. Obviously, to all the parents out there, I've reduced you to pet ownership. Oh God, I gotta stop with the type five. So yeah, when you sent me this article, um, it's the anxiety that you give me. Not you, but the anxiety inducing materials that you give me. That's really what it is. Because to your point, a lot of companies aren't ready for this, and um, it's I just it makes people like you and me do more important. So like there's a selfish bit of like, oh yay, thank you Google for creating job demand for me. But then also, oh, now I have to explain this to a bunch of people that I know a lot of them won't listen. At all
yeah.
because they'll think it's fluff, and then in 1 to 2 years of as we've written about,
Ugh, ain't that
they'll
the
go,
way?
oh, I should have listened to 2 years ago. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
you said we've heard this song and dance before. So take that hint, listen to
yeah.
this. I'm sure you'll probably share these articles at some point, or I'll be writing some content going out to
You'll be
Kerry
writing
about
some
this.
content. I'm actually glad this, as my coach likes to remind me of how this is happening for me and not to me. Thank you, Top Palmer. I appreciate you.
So what is Google
Yeah, this
doing? You want
is
to
so. What
summarize
is
it for
Google?
the folks at home?
So there's two things that have happened. One is Google published an article about how to show up in AI for Google, which is half true. And I'll unpack that in a second. And the second thing is they had their big I/O event yesterday, 2 days ago, yesterday, um,
Tuesday. So
Tuesday, so
two
two
days
days
ago.
ago. I'm still jet lagged.
You're
I'm
fine.
catching up. Um,
That's why I'm here to help.
exactly. Yes. And so 2 days ago, they did their big I/O event, and they talked about how basically the AI mode experience is going to be the ipso de facto experience. Blue links are disappearing. You'll no longer rank. You will be recommended. You'll be mentioned. You'll be cited. You will be the answer. And so while we had like I said, we had time to figure this out. We don't now. And so if you're not the answer, or people aren't directly searching for your name, it's going to be significantly harder to be seen. And that struggle is about to get real between these two things. I want to start with Google's. I have a lot of qualms with this AI guide that Google put out. I have so many qualms. The first one is that it's about Google specifically. So it doesn't take into account ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Claude, who
Yeah.
none of which have actually put anything out about how they are doing citations or how you're getting found.
I have a question
So,
about that to you later, but I'll ask you later.
okay. So keep that in mind as you're reading Google's
Yeah.
recommendations. Basically, what all it says is that it's all about good content. And if it is, and somebody just wrote this beautiful LinkedIn post, and I was applauding him because what he said was, if it was just about writing if it was just writing good content, then it would just be a content strategy, and you wouldn't need an entire division of SEO experts dedicated to this stuff, because it is not just about good content.
If it was about that, it would have been about that before AI or before generative search. Like it wouldn't. Yeah, it would have been that way all along. It would. Yeah,
and that's their argument. Like if you go to any
Yeah.
if you're following any of the SEOers out there, that's their argument. Good SEO is enough, and it's like, hold up, wait a minute. No,
No.
it's not. It's one pillar and one foundation. That's why we've broken them out between SEO, AEO,
Well, if
and
good
SEO.
SEO was what worked, then Sears wouldn't have collapsed.
You're going to say more on that one.
A lot
Connect the dots on
of
that.
you can be really good at a lot of things in marketing, but you can't good marketing, regardless of whether it's in SEO or in social media or on billboards, I don't care, can't save a bad company. It can't save bad marketing elsewhere. You know, it needs to be good everywhere, and that doesn't mean just within marketing, it means in the whole company. So you can rank number one all you want, you can show up number one all you want back in the traditional search days, still won't fix it if everything else is bad. Congratulations.
Really
most people in the world are going to your site than anybody else's, but your site's bad.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that's
come see my ugly house, everybody.
I mean, I'm writing a book. It's going to come out later this year, which will be perfect timing, because Rand Fishkin and Amanda are also writing a book from SparkToro, which we're going to be sort of parallel to each other. It's very tactical of like, here are the things to go do to make sure that you're showing up for your audience everywhere, not just in search, which is going to be brilliant. They're wonderful.
Oh, I got so many thoughts about this now. Go ahead.
My book is more about what you need foundationally and the systems and processes that you need to build to ensure that you can be everywhere. Because just going to do a podcast, or just going to be on podcasts, or just creating clips of content, or just writing LinkedIn posts, like those are all tactics, but they need to be part of a bigger system that ensures that your message is consistent. You're saying the same thing about who you are, why you're different, and why you're better, and you're saying it everywhere on a regular basis. And so you need to first go do the hard work of understanding who your customer is and why and nail that down. And then you need to build the content and the messaging that then goes and lives, not just on your website, but everywhere. And that's the hard part.
You know why I'm about to say this. That might involve starting internally, and maybe perhaps you don't defer those questions to other people internally. Maybe when your marketer asks you for your opinion, you don't just defer to somebody else's opinion, when I actually need specifically your opinion. I can't have a stand-in for the bride at her own wedding. Sorry, I've gone through something this morning and I had to say it. But yeah, listen to your marketers. We're trying to help you. But yes, it's
internal interviews are crucial, as well as external.
To the visibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If we don't know how we're talking about it internally, I don't know how we're going to talk it externally. And if I don't know how we're going to talk about it externally, we are not going to show up on Gemini. We are not going to show up on ChatGPT. We aren't going to show up anywhere.
Correct. you're not going to be mentioned. And this is what's
Yeah.
happening. So here's the second thing that Google dropped, all within a week, which was so kind of them to pour this on us. We're going to
Lovely.
get it
Love
out of
I
the way.
love big tech companies. They're my favorite people in the world. Did you know that they are ran by some of the most introspective, mindful, therapized individuals on the planet?
I don't
That
always
is
get sarcasm,
sarcasm.
but believe me, I have picked that up. Um, so in terms of the second thing, it's about how search is changing and it's going agentic. It's all about AI. And it is really cool. Like some of the things they were showing is going to be like, especially for anybody like me who hates meal planning, like with every bone in my body, you can
I'm right
actually
there
look
with
up
you.
recipes and save them and actually build like a little app for yourself that has all your favorite recipes, and you can do meal planning. It can put less together. Like you can
Oh yeah.
search and build at the same time, which is super cool. So I'm not saying that this isn't going to be game changing for the everyday consumer. It's going to be awesome, but it's going to
Yes.
hurt B2B
it's
really hard
it's
for
it's gonna
for
hurt
us
them
to.
any hard way harder than anything I could ever say or do to somebody. I can tell you that.
It's going to be painful. It is because now what's happening is AI is making the decision on what they're going to show the user, not just because you wrote good content you're going to rank. And that's where this consistent messaging comes in handy and is really important, because not only do you need to say it on your website and be very very unique. They glossed over it in the IO.
Oh
It was
yeah.
like a throwaway comment, but they were like, and look at this content that we're showing you that is very unique and niche to exactly what it is that you're searching for. Like that does not get more prescriptive than of exactly what kind of content you need to be producing, on top of the fact that it needs to be tailored to who you are and what you do, and then that needs to be further perpetuated not only from what you're saying, but your customers have to be saying it,
Yeah.
influencers have to be saying it. Like it has to be bigger than just you. PR, right,
Yeah.
mentions this is what Spark Toro talks about all the time in terms of the power of PR. And it feels, I know it feels really big right now. It is big.
I think the thing that is hard for some potentially like non-marketers to wrap their brain around is that it's done is thrown fuel in the fire of things that are already important and just made them even more important. Like it's because
And all the
you're
things that are
I
broken are going to be more broken.
yeah, and I am in no way, shape, or form trying to uh lessen the importance of what you're talking about when you're talking about consistency. But when you touched on uniqueness, I don't want us to gloss over it the same way that Google did, because it's being relevant, being niche or niche, whatever part of the world you pronounce it as, being um, having your own POV as a brand, as a business, having something different about whatever the heck it is that you provide is going to be also, just like consistency, more important than ever before. And there's other parts of economics, if you want to like really like get to like macroeconomics view instead of this micro marketing view of it all. We've already seen kind of like a reversal to like the 1940s and 50s in some ways, of like Sephora's building stores in residential neighborhoods now near train stations here in Chicago, like where normally you would have like a liquor store or convenience store, you know but they know people are doing like online pickups and they want to go pick it up on their way home from work and
Oh,
on their
smart.
commutes, and they're getting people in the store. Now they're adding 3 things to their online order while they conveniently go wait for somebody to go and pick it up. The employees are purposefully taking their sweet time knowing that you're wandering the aisles. They're providing more in-store experiences, right? We're reverting back to the 50s where like you went down the street to the
Yep.
corner store to get these things, right? So when people are searching for things like hyper locality, hyper
Mm-hmm.
specific to my lifestyle and my needs, we have so many more choices than ever before. And with of every type of service offering, look at grocery stores. In the bread aisle, it used to be 6 options for bread. Now it's like every single loaf is completely different on the shelves.
Oh my
You
gosh,
know,
too many
there's so
options.
much competition. This is just another example of like, in some ways, we're moving forward in new ways that never been done before, but in other ways, we're kind of just doing a V2 of things that we did pre-internet.
Yep. Yep. It is. It is coming back to basics. It's going back to
Yeah.
the Mad Men days and the um oh gosh, his name's escaped me, but it is that feeling of making people feel again and get and having
Yeah.
that emotional buy because it there are just too many options and people have to feel
It's
connected to
almost
the
like
brand.
your marketers need to be emotionally intelligent and mature. It's almost like therapy is good for your career.
Oh, everybody should have therapy. 100%. 100%. And we're all going to need it now to get through whatever this is.
More, yeah. If I ever get a resume again, if I ever start working traditional jobs and need a resume, I'm going to put how many years of therapy under my career experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the names of my psychiatrists. Under skills, Lexapro, 25 milligrams.
I mean, yes. I mean, I think we all the struggle is going to be real for a while as we all figure this out. I mean, if you don't
Yeah.
have strong positioning and messaging, that's like step
Then
number
the
one. You should
consistency doesn't
go.
matter. Yeah, you
No,
can
no,
have
no,
all the
because
consistency in the world, but if you've got bad
if you're
messaging, it
not
doesn't
consistent
matter.
about yeah, if it's not all tied together around who you are and why you, and what makes you different, and what audience you serve, then it's just going to be screaming into the void. There was another
Yeah.
LinkedIn post yesterday that I loved, and I wish I was saving these. I should just start doing that. So because I'm referencing them, of somebody in
And
the
send them
SEO
to me.
world
And send
who
them to me.
and send them to you, who talked about how we're writing content wrong, and I couldn't agree more. Where we are writing from a place of what we think the audience wants versus knowing what actually the audience wants. We have so much data at our fingertips. I go into SEMrush. I just did it
Yeah.
today. I went into SEMrush. I pulled down all the prompts. We literally can look at straight up prompts people are writing to know exactly what they're asking for and what questions they have. And then we can write specific content to those prompts. And that's the order of operations. Like, we need to stop guessing and actually work with the data that we
I
have
need to
in
get myself a
hand.
Sunrise subscription for just me. Because I could see that being
We'll work on
useful
it.
across the board.
Yeah. Well, that I mean, the amount of data it has, I'm skeptical about looking at it from a reporting standpoint.
Okay.
Um because it literally will pick up every if you've been writing a lot of top of funnel content for a really long time. Actually, this is probably helpful. If you've been writing a lot of top of funnel content for a really long time and you go into SEMrush and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I like hardly ever I'm like at a 17% AI visibility, but it's telling me I have like all these mentions and all of these citations, like what is happening." It's because it's bucketing you in a very broad, big category.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's misleading to how you are actually showing up in the market because you're showing up too big in the market and you really need to like niche down and get your content. I'm not, for some of my
Yeah.
clients, I'm not writing content right now. I'm optimizing the existing content to get it as crystal clear for every single page. Every single page has to be unique. It
Yeah.
has to solve a problem, and it has to be very, very specific.
That's
And
that's a
so
that's a
that's what I'm
nuance
doing
that
with my
a
content right now.
that's a nuance that only like a really trained eye can gather, which I think is why it's, back to the analogy of like you can give a hammer to somebody, but that doesn't make him a carpenter. You can hand SEMrush to somebody, but it doesn't make them an SVO expert. So there's your pitch. Go work with MKG marketing if you need help with this. Because the SEMrush subscription is useful in a lot of ways, but it's not useful in every possible way. The thing that I find that maybe you'll find interesting. You can tell me because you use SEMrush a lot more than I have in my career. Its insights seem to be where it's most valuable, not so much when it's reporting. The leading
Right.
indicators, and as long as you know what to do with that information and how
Yeah.
to read the reports and what parts to trust more than others, um, it can be helpful. And this is not an attack on SEMrush. Actually, I think that
No.
this is a limitation of the technology, not of the product or the platform themselves. This is still new. Like we're still as a global society trying to figure out how this technology works.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say Google Search Console is your friend in terms of understanding how what's actually showing up in your traffic uh, from from organic search.
Mm-hmm.
But SEMrush is at the very top of the funnel of what are people even searching for, and that's really that's its value. Especially now, you have to reverse engineer to understand what your customers care about, and
Yeah.
knowing exactly how they're searching and the language they're using is really helpful. I will say it's really hard to figure out what category you should even be looking for or what keywords you should be showing up for or um, what what prompts you should be looking at until you do your positioning and messaging. So
Yeah.
yeah, come back to that. I'm gonna be a broken record,
I
but
was
yeah,
gonna say, like, when someone goes into, SEMrush to figure out what are people searching for, the act of using SEMrush can give them the wrong answers because they don't know what they're searching for within SEMrush.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
it's the whole you don't know what you don't know. Um
Mhm.
and I think it's just why it's just so important to have experts in the driver's seat of these tools. And also, and if you are learning how to get good at these tools, like it takes time and practice. Like I'm not an expert in this by any means. I wouldn't call myself an SVO marketer, an SEO marketer. I would call myself a marketer that has a mild to moderate understanding and experience level, and I usually defer to folks like you. But I have seen so many people that just they misguide themselves while being well intended with tools like
Mhm.
SEMrush. They think they know their audience. They think they know who their ICP is. Um, if you're and that can really kind of only fuel the problem because we can it
Yeah,
goes back to the
generate
consistency.
debate.
We can have a ton of consistency and we can be super clear and we can do all the right things. But if it's for the wrong audience,
Yeah, I had a client in the wrong category. He's an executive coach, but we were going after terms around business coaching, and it was totally not the right. He wasn't showing up at all. I couldn't get him any visibility because the message we had with the category keywords we were going after were not in alignment.
yeah,
And so the minute I switched him over to executive coaching and restructured the website in terms of the content of how it needs to function now for SVO, in 15 hours, he was showing up. He was being cited. He was being, we don't have any mentions yet, but that's because now we have to see the message beyond the
yeah,
website. But it's being, in 15 hours, it's down being cited and it is ranking. So not that ranking is going to matter much longer, but it is a um, like a leading indicator in terms of whether Google is going to prioritize you. If you're ranked 50 versus ranked number 2, it's going to prioritize the number 2 spot.
well, so
Um,
these
so
articles
yeah,
which
so category matters.
yeah, well, well, we know how it matters at least a little bit with Google. What do you think is going to happen now that Google's kind of put out this semi-honest, semi-transparent, um, more like translucent way of looking at how they do things? It's frosted glass. We'll call it that.
It's
Um,
not clear at all. It's
yeah. Do you
basically like
think
good SEO is good enough.
it's a
Like,
frosted glass funhouse mirror? Yeah. How do you think OpenAI and all the other, tools out there, the companies that make those, like, do you think that some of them are going to want to go the route of pretending to be open about how it works? Do you think they'll keep their cards close to their chest that they currently are, or do you think one day we're going to see one that is incredibly transparent, kind of like the blue sky of the LLM world?
I think that for ChatGPT in particular, you probably could follow Microsoft's guidelines for Bing because they're using the same system. Um,
Okay.
so that's being tested right now. So I think you could probably do that. Perplexity, I have no idea. It's such a different system in terms of real time. It's one of the first places from an LLM perspective to go in terms of real time. Everyone else was like, this is data from 2023. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that's totally built differently, and we have no idea how it's built. So again, just coming back to, I think following best practices in regards to what we do know in how all LLMs are working and how they're scraping the internet for understanding your brand beyond your website is just where it needs to happen. I think Spark Toro's got some good data around perplexity, and I think that's where like all the Reddit and the LinkedIn
Yeah.
recommendations really came from. Of like, these are the places you need to be, because it's where your audience is, it's where they're talking about you, and it's where it's being scraped. So I think perplexity, at least they were leaning into those platforms. I don't know if they still are, because I know that the algorithms are being updated all the time, and places like Gemini and Claude are putting less emphasis on those channels. But I don't know about perplexity and chat if they're still leaning into those pretty hard. The problem with
And by the
Reddit,
time we
I
finish
don't know
this,
if
the
you
rules
had
will
the
change.
Reddit experience. Absolutely, absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
But I love your opinion on this as being a social person and Reddit is I know that there's Reddit strategies out there and you can do like ask me anythings and stuff, but
Yeah.
like man, the minute a brand shows up on these places, you're like you get
Oh my God.
hammered. It really is about the audience bringing you to the conversation, not really you showing up as the brand. And I don't even remotely know how to even begin to get that
I
done.
have my response to Reddit marketing could be a whole episode of its own because and it really angers a lot of I would call, but they wouldn't call themselves traditional business folk. The Reddit marketing. Reddit's not like you can hire a social media manager or social media marketer to run your LinkedIn, to run your X, to run your Instagram, to run your YouTube. Hell, you could even hire one to run all of them. With the right team to make the content, or you can AI automate the hell out of it, whatever, right? We already know how that role works. Okay. Like we all have a firm understanding of how that role works, how it has worked, and how it will work for the foreseeable future. Reddit marketing is in its own category. It
It
is its
is.
own department. It is its own job. It is
Yep.
it's its own thing. And the other industries really seem to understand this outside of B2B. Like the gaming industry is so first of all, the gaming industry is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. The gaming industry, somebody fact checked me on this, but I remember learning that it is bigger than the music and movie industry combined. It is huge, the gaming industry, because we're combining like think about it, you're combining board games with World of Warcraft, with The Sims, with Skyrim, with mobile Candy Crush. That's how big of an industry it is. So they have really mastered marketing as an industry because they're so big and there's a lot of competition, especially within all the subgenres of gaming, right? And the different platforms. So they know how to fight. They know how to fight. And
And
just
gamify
games,
everything.
the irony, right? They're eating their own dog food. And before Reddit really blew up, because Reddit was a slow burn of a platform, um, and it promises ties into AI. Gaming companies first started like in like the 2000s were really big on trying to infiltrate gaming communities that were fan created within tools. If you're a real nerd like me, you'll remember Ventrilo, TeamSpeak. You'll remember Engine, ENJIN, or Guild Launch. And then when we got to the 2010s, Discord entered the chat room, basically, pun intended. And now entire companies have people dedicated to managing their Discord communities and joining the Discord communities of gamers and influencers with followings on the internet, so on and so forth, which is the V2 of the private website communities and the fan site forums that I just mentioned in the V1 in the 2000s and the 90s. And now in the 2020s, they haven't stopped the Discord play, but what they have started to add on to it now is they have entire people dedicated to that same logic, but on Reddit, because Reddit is such a heavy lift that even if you dare attempt automation, if you dare attempt any of the logic that applies to marketing anywhere else in the world on like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc., it will not work on Reddit. Not just because of the algorithm, but because of the social
Users.
norms of the
Yeah.
of the platform set by the users. Reddit is definitely a platform by the users for the users, and it's an extreme version of Discord in that sense, right? So you have to play by the rules of the people,
Yes, you do.
which makes leveraging Reddit so much harder when it comes to citing
Perfect.
in these AI search results. But at the exact same time, it also means that if you got it done right, then you got it done really right. I
Yeah.
often make the joke in the negative of, a lot of you were bad at marketing before AI. And now with AI, you can be bad at marketing faster. Now with AI, though, you can also be really good at it faster, too.
Yeah.
So you can't AI your way through Reddit faster, but what you can do is AI your way through figuring out how to use Reddit faster and then how to measure the slow part of using Reddit faster. But that slow part of like engaging, talking, talking like normal people, having your own little evangelists, we're gonna bring that job title back. playing around on Reddit and a Discord in the gaming world is exactly what they've been doing. And if the company doesn't have an in-house team, they go and hire influencers and brand ambassadors to do that for them. So, or just make a really good product that people get excited about to want to talk about. I could go on forever.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
really all.
B2B needs to take some hits,
Yeah,
take
I
some
mean,
notes.
I feel like the only way you end up on Reddit as a B2B company is if people are complaining about you. So you almost like don't want
Yeah.
to end up on Reddit because if people are complaining about you and then
Or you
like
want to
AI is
be the
definitely going to
company.
ignore you.
My favorite part though is the people that are complaining about you in their posts. Somebody's in that comment section saying, "Yeah, I hate them. That's why I switched to whoever else." You want to be the whoever
You want
else
to be the switch. You want to be the whoever else, the
because
competitor.
even if that comment doesn't adjust your search engine results, even if that doesn't adjust your LLM results, that's still pipeline, sweetie. That's still
Totally.
pipeline, you know. And also,
Yeah.
that is also data that you can use to find out what content to make to then show up more in the results. It's an indirect but yet still valuable way of gleaning what content to make and to improve the quality of your consistency. It's this constant balancing act of quantitative versus qualitative that marketers deal with every second of every day.
Oh my god, every second of every day. And we use AI to write content, but it's backed in that positioning and messaging that we did. We did so much work last year on figuring out like why do people keep coming back to us? Why do they keep hiring us? Why do they leave and then bring us on to the next thing over and over and over again? And then all of our content is then backed is baked into the questions people are asking. So it's aligning those two things and writing content, even with the help of AI, to really make sure that it's marrying those two things together. And so
Yeah.
it really does come back to that, like why you? How can you get people excited to talk about you and want to show up on Reddit and say stop using them, start using these folks because they do X, Y, and Z and we've experienced it and it's awesome, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to get into Reddit is your users want to talk about you.
Yeah, and what I find funny though is these companies will get the tools to make the content that's like, $15 a month, $200 a month, whatever. And then they'll wonder why it's not working on Reddit on these platforms because they once again back to the tool and the carpenter example, right? It's the sure content has never been cheaper to produce. It has never been so low cost to produce. It is so easy to make it now for a low cost. It's also really easy to make content that's not bad but not also great either for a low cost. What what I envision is the companies that, let's say you're spending $5,000 a month on a content initiative, and then now with AI, you're like, ooh, I can get down to $200 a month for the same thing. I would actually encourage you to keep the $5,000 budget and spend the newfound savings on instead of paying for someone's time to execute on the task, you're paying for someone's intelligence. You're paying for someone's taste. You're paying for judgment. You're paying for curiosity and strategy. That's the thing that the tool's not good at.
It's not.
And you can have the tool prompt a strategy and write one for you all you want, but it's going to take a true talented marketer to know how to use the tool to get the answer you need. It's a lot of manipulation of the AI. It's done by the human. AI certainly won't replace the human, but the human that's really good at using AI will replace other humans.
Oh my gosh. I just talked to a gal this morning who is looking for her next thing because her company is squeezing and squeezing and squeezing her to do more thanks to AI. So she's responsible for 7 products in an enterprise. Seven.
There is a
Seven
there
products.
does come a limit. That's insane. That's
Yeah.
insane.
And
Yeah.
somebody's going on maternity leave, so they just tossed her all of her work from a different geo. Oh,
Katie
you have
herein
AI
lied
now.
in Mean Girls. The limit does exist. The limit absolutely does
No wonder why
exist.
she's looking. You just lost somebody who's been with you forever, and now
Yeah,
they're out the door. Like,
yeah. I
AI
shouldn't be
comes in
given
handy when it's
more.
with people.
I shouldn't be
I said
given
to my
more
team,
work.
AI should do 2 things for you. It should either help you build something better than you could before because you didn't either have the skills or the tools before. So now you can do something even better. Or it's taking stuff off of your plate so you can spend more time thinking and again making something better than you did before. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, our work output should not increase in terms of volume, but increase in terms of quality. And
Yeah.
that's really where the AI makes things like, so taking stuff off your plate isn't so that you can then pile on more. It's to get you to be able to do your job even better because you're not worried about moving
Yeah.
data from one place to another. You're actually able to do the analysis on what the data is saying versus just moving it around to get it in the right place to build the dashboard.
Yeah, well, on the note of quantity and volume, the that is more of a symptom and less the diagnosis. I think people need to remember that too. I agree with everything you just said. But if we have more volume, or if we have more quantity, if we have more output, that's not the goal. That's the side effect. That's the downstream result and consequence of doing better work. That is not the definition of better work. That is just what happens when you have better work. Because to your point, I can spend more time thinking and more time being strategic and more time being creative. I when I first started being a content marketer full time at Troops, I was given a blog assignment on a Monday and was expected to have a first draft done by Thursday. It was okay if that blog didn't get posted for 2 to 3 weeks. You and I both know that timeline is not appropriate in today's world. But 6, 7 years ago, that would have been completely appropriate. But the point though is like now, like sure, I shouldn't take 3 weeks. Maybe I should take a week. But just because I can get it done in the evening doesn't mean I should. It means like
Should.
get the draft done in the evening, noodle on it, sit with it, think about it, ask some other folks about what they think about it. Spend more of that time you would have spent on editing and manually writing and researching, on validating and testing and getting opinions. Have 9 drafts instead of 2 or 3 drafts. Like allow more time for editing. That's
Yeah.
not okay, good, done, ship, next one. Like it's this order taking system, the speed,
No.
like fast food drive through factory thing is going to be the death of so many brands and companies. And I am so excited to see who's bad at their job. We're already seeing it and I love it. Thank you for lowering the bar for people like me.
I mean, that's exactly what this is going to do. When I have clients who are building products right now. They're no longer wanting to spend the 12 grand plus a year on CRM building their own, which I had qualms about. It was like, this is a huge liability, realize that, right? Security standpoint,
Yep.
and then like loved it. You want to beyond love because rather take the energy to build the thing themselves than they would to have in the big brands because it's easy profit margin. More importantly, building it and AI is literally serving up what tool they need.
Yep.
Oh, you off to make sure you have sign on. You need it shaped to make sure that you can take easy payments. Oh, you need this tool. They're not giving them options or saying, here's your options of what tools you could potentially use. It's telling them to go sign up for the thing so that they can grab the API and plug it in on their end. Like it this like this is
Thank
what we're
you.
up against in terms of where AI is headed in how B2B is going. These platforms are going to be recommended. You have to be the answer. And the only way to be the answer is to solve a very specific problem better than anybody else for that audience, for that AI to serve you up. Like that's the mountain we get to climb.
There's the mic drop. That's a fantastic place to leave people because
it's happening.
just go hire Kerry and her team. That's it's if you're gonna it's also it's if you're gonna I just don't understand why when there's a new tool that comes out, why we have to go, oh yay, profit margin increase. It's like, how about reallocating that newfound cost difference on something that really makes that investment more worthwhile versus just going, oh yay, look at how much money I'm saving. Like, sure, that looks impressive short term to investors and stockholders, but long term, you're going to have a lot more sustainability. And this is such an American thing. It's when it comes to economics. You and me could talk about the philosophy of that approach for hours and hours, I'm sure. But if you got a 15% profit margin and you're growing every year 15% profit margin, your goal shouldn't be to get to a 20% profit margin. It should be to maintain the 15% profit margin, because when hard times hit, you're going to be fine. With that logic, and I think that AI is just another example of that. It's just another way that companies are going to shoot themselves in the foot if they don't marry everything Google is preaching, in the article that I'm sure you'll be sharing and talking
Yeah.
a ton about on the internet. If you don't marry that with talent, and if you don't marry that with thoughtfulness and having a strong POV and everything we discussed in this interview, it's not going to be worth even $10 a month.
Nope. Nope. The last thing I'll say in all of this is, if things are good right now and you think you have time because things are good, I'm telling you, you don't. Like, the best time to build is when things are good. And I may be speaking from experience, right? Like, as a marketing agency, of course, the cobbler's children has no shoes is like exactly what we've been up against for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Things were good. Things were really good until they weren't. And then we were like, oh no, what do we do? And we started marketing in the worst of times, and we still are working on it. And now things are better, but that's because of referrals and our network and the same clients bringing us back, which is not sustainable. So we are doing our own marketing now while things are good so we can lay that foundation. So when things are not good, it's okay because we have pipeline and we have other channels we can pull, and we have a strong foundation that we can build on, and like, no problem. But man, do I, telling my younger self, if I could go back 15 years, start marketing now. What you're doing for clients, do for yourself, and start right now.
Please, everybody listen, especially if you're in your early 20s, please build the brand, even if you don't know what you're selling yet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're out there looking for a job, treat yourself like a brand and start marketing yourself.
Especially if you are a marketer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, clearly we could talk all day. These 2 articles just dropped. I'll share the video from the IO yesterday. I'll share the Google article about best practices. Take it with a grain of salt. DM me if you have any questions. I'm here for you. Let me know if you want some. I'll jump into SEMrush and grab some questions if you want anything to help you all out and get ahead, because it's here. The time's come.
Well, damn.
And on that note, we appreciate you all. Thank you for letting us jump in on this Thursday off script, and we will see you next week with a guest.
Because I'm not a guest.
You were a guest, and you should check out that show. It was awesome. This was just us getting to chit chat and rant, which was awesome.
We gotta do this again sometime. This was a pleasure.
Always. Well, now I know next time a guest cancels what to do.
If I'm free, I'm here.
Let's do it. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you next week.